It's Liam Alexander Stewart with Inside the Ropes, and I'm back again with another fantastic interview for you today. You can see my guest across to my left. We are talking about a bona fide wrestling legend. We're talking about a man that's held titles in the US, Canada, Japan, here in the UK, and a man that NWA Always Ready will be looking to add a third NWA World's Tag Team title to his already impressive resume. Talking about a man that comes from wrestling royalty. It's none other than Mr. Harry Smith himself. Harry, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you for that nice introduction and encomium.
That's no problem at all. We've been looking forward to sitting down to chat with you.
Excellent.
When the guys at NWA reached out, we had lots of questions, and we're very excited about the show.
Me too,
We mentioned Always Ready, and of course you'll be teaming with a UK legend in his own right, Mr. Doug Williams, as a Commonwealth connection.
Yes.
To go for those NWA World's Tag Team titles for a third time following your two reigns with, of course, Lance Archer and the Killer Elite Squad. How has it been coming back to NWA in the tag title scene, this time with Doug rather than Lance? And what are some of the changes you've noticed since the last time you were with the company?
Well, nowadays, since Billy Corgan has, taken over the NWA, he's brought it onto a much bigger scale than what it was previously. There wasn't a whole lot of national exposure with it before. And I worked with them before with, Tony Brooklyn and, a bunch of other guys that were running it at the time. And they were all treated me very well. And, but it's been great to be back in the NWA, and now it's on a much larger scale internationally. And I've had a very good rapport and good relationship with Billy Corgan dating back to when I worked for him. If we're his wrestling company previously with Resistance Pro Wrestling up in Chicago, and I was his first ever world heavyweight champion there as well. So Billy's been doing a fantastic job, and he's really integrated the old school style of wrestling, but put it into the modern, the modern way. And so it's been great being a part of it. And Doug has been a really good, proper, top of the block tag team partner, we'll say. So, we've had some good chemistry. We never teamed up before previously. And, it just, it clicked and it worked. So it's been going good.
Love it. And it's great to see you guys sort of bring in that style that the NWA does so well and kind of offers fans that they might not be able to get elsewhere.
Yes.
You obviously have sort of a very storied history in tag team wrestling, and going back, of course, obviously, so does your family. We mentioned obviously the legacy that family has, and the weekend just gone, we saw your Uncle Owen honored the AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view with the Owen Hart tournament. What was that like for you and your family to see, and what did it mean to see the sort of the reception that he got from the fans of sort of all generations, and kind of the universal love that he seems to draw towards him?
Are you meaning for the Owen Hart Cup?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's great to see that they honored him. To be honest with you, I didn't catch much of it. Just to be not purposely. I caught stuff here and there, and I have so much stuff on my DVR that I need to catch up with. I was just busy with training, and it's just some other things were going on. So, but that that's great that they honored him. I'm glad that Martha, let AEW honor him, because he certainly deserves it by his all of his peers from before, and all the wrestlers and the wrestling fans especially. So good on him for that. I just didn't see much of it.
No, totally understand. There's so much wrestling, and I think the more involved you are in it, the last thing you want to do after a hard day of training and wrestling is come home and watch it all over again. Was there were you ever asked at all about being involved in it in any way as an in-ring competitor, or doing anything backstage with it, or Was it
No.
just something you were never talked to about?
No, it was never, no, I was never approached about it, and I never approached them. It was just, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything bad about what it was, just that there's a bit of a strained relationship with Martha, unfortunately, with a lot of the family members, like, with Bret and my mother. And I haven't really spoke to Martha in quite some time. So I thought that it might be awkward just personally. And also to be honest with you, unless I was coming in full time, I don't really know what I would have added to the tournament aside from just being a family member that's just kind of thrown in there. And so, if there was a plan for me to stay with AEW after that, I could have seen that. But in my eyes, and probably, I don't know if they ever thought about it, but why bring me in for just this and then forget about it? Because I probably wouldn't be winning it anyway. I wasn't sure if it would work or if it would fit. So I wasn't disappointed or mad that it wasn't in it. I just had apprehensions. There's weird, unfortunately, residual heat from Martha and my family, and WWE and this and that. Although I'm not there anymore, I just thought it might be weird and awkward. So
yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Jumping back to NWA, you've wrestled for a plethora of some of the biggest promotions across the world, from New Japan to the WWE, and companies all over the place. For viewers at home that might not be familiar with the NWA, who are considering watching the Always Ready event on June 11th, what can fans expect from the show, and what do you think makes NWA stand out from the likes of WWE, AEW, MLW, ROH, Impact, and all the other sort of plethora of promotions that are out there at the moment?
Well, they got the Commonwealth connection, so that stands out right away now. All right. You know what? There's, like I was saying, I think that Billy's really integrated the old school with the modern day style of wrestling. And there's a lot of great talent, and like myself and Doug and Nick Aldez, Matt Cardona, Mike Knox. So and I think that Billy kind of brings all sorts of styles to his company, not just the high flying flippy flop, but good hard style wrestling. And he's got old school kind of style guys like Trevor Murdoch, who's like Dick Murdoch back in the day. Great worker, great talent. So I think that they could expect to see something a little bit different, a little bit more of an older style with the storytelling. And it's a lot of it's inside of an old studio, like the old NWA, which I thought was pretty cool. And I think that they'll see a lot of good, solid wrestling. That I think that can compete with all the other companies right now. So that's I think that they should definitely tune in just for that alone.
Definitely. And you said it in jest at the start, but you guys, the Commonwealth Collection, are doing some incredible stuff. I mean, yourself alone, we saw the clip that went viral recently of you stall suplexing over 300-pound Mike Knox, the incredible feats of strength. And one of the other things you shared on Twitter that I was a big fan of, I really enjoyed watching, was a video of yourself at 16 coming out doing a backflip with the Backstreet Boys playing. I want to ask, having been in the industry for so long, has there been one particular piece of advice you've ever been given that's really stuck with you as, like, looking back, this was a great piece of advice?
I might have to go back to that, but you know what? Just work hard, train hard, do your best. It basically, it takes two to tango, and you're only as good as your opponent is, and it's it's not a one-man show. You gotta work with your opponent and to his abilities and incapabilities, and always protect your opponent, like my Uncle Bret said. And any moves that you do, they should look like they hurt, but you should be able to protect your opponent. And if they look bad and they hurt, don't do it. So that was always Bret's motto. So it's always stuck with me.
I think that's such a great piece of advice, and I think it's one that we see sort of Bret's influence in wrestling kind of echoed more than ever now with, guys like FTR, CM Punk kind of using social media to talk about sort of how good he is. Is there a particular moment from your time with Bret that stands out to you as like your favorite Bret Hart memory?
Are you talking about him in the ring? Or?
In the ring or out, either or, whichever one stands out more to you.
Well, I mean, for inside the ring was when he was with Tyson Kidd and myself when we won the tag titles from Show Miz.
Oh yes.
So he was out there, and he was out there. He was out there for the victory celebration and all that, and the crowd was really they were just going crazy that night. It was unreal, and so that was my favorite in the ring moment with him. And we did some fun stuff too, like did a Bret Hart appreciation night. We main evented Madison Square Garden, which was pretty cool, against the Nexus, and had some 6-man tag team matches in Germany with him. So it's just funny, like I know after Bret had his concussion injury and stuff, like I never thought I would be in the ring with them, teaming up in some degree, although it was just limited because of what he could do. But that was really awesome to, great moment, great memory. And, of course, aside from that, it was a match with my father and him at Wembley Stadium, and his classic match that he had with Owen at SummerSlam 94 and WrestleMania 10 as well. And, I was there live for the Iron Man match he had with Shawn Michaels in Anaheim. And wow, that was
special.
That was quite something. Yeah, because I actually don't think I knew what was going to be the finish that night.
Oh, nice.
So we just like
fully invested.
Yeah. Oh geez, I was only 11 years old then. 10 years old. Geez, yeah.
We mentioned obviously your spell in the WWE, and we saw you go back recently. But there was a bit of, it seemed sort of confusion on the fan side, because we saw you come in, announce the sign, you had the dark match, and then the sort of vignette that went out on, or sorry, the sort of video interview that went out digitally, and then sort of shortly after that you'd been released. Can you sort of provide clarity on fans as to what happened there in terms of what was the original, was there any plans for you when you were coming in? Was it like, we're going to do this and this, and sort of what led to you being released, or was it just a case of it seems like they pulled the name out of the hat on the day sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, their guess is as good as mine, but well, so I gotten signed, and then I was doing the first ever live, like in front of an audience in Texas for SmackDown, and I did a tag team match, teamed up with Austin Theory, and then we did another one on the following Monday on Raw, but they do things differently now. We did it in front of no fans, just the wrestlers, which was like kind of awkward, like you're doing your entrance, and but Austin and I were just like, okay, I wasn't sure if it was a test, but let's just have a good match, and that way nobody can say, oh well, and then WWE was supposed to do or release a documentary on my father for the Legends series. I think they were supposed to do one on Lex Luger too, and we had done a whole bunch of filming and everything for that. And I don't know what happened. The following after the dark match, I asked them, I said, do you know when I'll be coming back up? I'm like, you need it next week? And the guy, he's new. He's got Mark Carano's job now. John Cohn.
Yeah.
He said the next time you'll be coming to SmackDown is when you're going to be debuting. He goes, you did really good. Vince really liked it. I said, oh, okay. Well, so I'll just wait. And then they asked me to do a dark match because they were coming back to Tampa like a few weeks later. And they were going to do some backstage vignettes with me because I got my father's leather vest,
Yeah.
And they were going to show that for the documentary. And I was going to have another dark there. And luck be have it, I ended up getting COVID really bad. So yeah, that was not fun. So I was kind of out of commission for about 3 weeks or a month. And then I was kind of forgotten about. And then I came to TVs 1 or 2 times, and I'd been really like training hard. And I mean, I was investing a lot of money into all this meal planning, and I was waiting to come back. And then they called and they just said, Johnny said he wasn't a fan of it. He just, he said he wasn't happy with the list of names he was given, but it wasn't from him. So, I mean, I don't know what they were waiting for, or the only thing that I was told was that I was going to be debuting on SmackDown, and they were going to call me the Stampede Stud. That was the name. So, and I was like, okay. And yeah, it just never happened. It wasn't my fault. I showed up more than in shape. I was, I came to TVs once. I was running the stairs and doing push-ups, and I'd seen Vince. He goes, "Oh man, looking good, kid." I said, "Oh yeah, thanks." So I figured that like that was a thing to do, is really invest on your, like, as much time as I had at home. I got up to about, oh geez, I was almost overtraining. Like I was lifting up cars and pushing them for a mile. Like my knees were starting to hurt a little bit. Like it was that much in intensity with my training. I got to about 280 pounds with abs and everything like that. So I was pretty disappointed that just nothing happened out of it. And it wasn't my fault. And it was just, there was a bunch of other names of people that got cut, and I don't know.
Well, I think for the NWA, it's, silver linings. I think the stuff that we see you doing now is great. And, I think NWA is really in a position to sort of power on with you guys at the forefront. Yeah. I want to end on what's become sort of our signature question here on these interviews. And it ties in because I spoke with Road Dogg earlier today. And when I asked him the question of who the biggest locker room prankster he'd ever been in wrestling with was, he had mentioned your dad and talked about how your dad was one of the funniest guys he'd been around. So I want to ask you, in your time in wrestling, be it the WWE, Japan, NWA, wherever, what is the best prank or rib you've seen played backstage that you saw and you were like, that's hilarious?
Well, I can't, I can think of one maybe backstage, but I can tell you this one. My family, we were over in Benidorm, Spain for a vacation in the summer of '98. And we were staying at this hotel. And the guy, he was just the front desk guy. He was a real idiot. Like he wasn't like, usually with hotels, you got to give your credit card, like as an incidental and to pay. He was only accepting cash, and it was like, but we had already like, how should I say, reserved this place. Yeah. Because we were staying there and we were going to be traveling. We did all these safari trips on buses, and it was right near the beach. And it was like, okay, well, Davey paid the cash, whatever. And then TJ and we kept, and he was getting mad because I had an little inflatable shark in the pool. I was playing with it, and he was like, no, you can't. I was like, And then TJ and I, we kept, when we were going up and down the elevators, we were pressing all the buttons. So it would stop on every single floor. And we did it a few times, and the guy caught us, and he got all mad and he stormed upstairs. And I think we ran into our room and locked the door. And then the guy was knocking on the door. Then Davey opened it, and then he was yelling at us for this and that, blah, blah, blah. And so he did something else to make Davey mad. I can't remember, but he was just like on us constantly about, like, you had to be out of the hotel at 11 a.m. no matter what, so the maids could come in. And so Davey had enough of this guy. So the last day, because he had given cash, he didn't have a credit card. He had set up, like, it was like a Home Alone trap in the hotel room. Like, he had all these different, like I think he put a bunch of ketchup into one of the light bulbs, so when it would light up and explode. He did like the Wet Bandits thing, where he put the stuff like a sock or something down the sinkhole and turned on the water. And he had like a bucket of water, like right near like the one door that was half open, so when you'd open it would splash everywhere. It was like he had so many. And then and then as we were leaving, because it was one of those old school rooms where you had a key.
Oh, right, yeah
to get in. And he had broken off a bunch of toothpicks, and he stuffed them all in there, so you couldn't be able to. Yeah, so he had all kinds of. I was like, oh wow, these are good ideas in case I ever need to do
a little notepad. Taking this.
Hopefully not, but that was a good one. The chopsticks or the toothpicks and the keyhole. So I don't know whatever happened to the guy,
but I love it, man. Well, before we let you go, and we do appreciate you taking out this time to chat with us today, I want to pass the floor over to you to sort of promote anything you want to do, your socials, any merch, anything like that, or NWA. Once again, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So if you can tune in to NWA, it will be on June 11th, It'll be available on fight.tv. Doug Williams and I will be challenging for the NWA Tag Team Championships against La Rebellion. And we're hoping to be successful. And please tune in. For all my news and information, you can check me out on Instagram at DB Smith Jr. and on Twitter at DB Smith Jr. as well. I don't have an official website right now, but I'm working on that. But I appreciate all the support, and you can check me out on all that, and you can see me on NWA, and you can see me on their YouTube channel for most of their recent stuff.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for taking the time out to chat with us.
You're very welcome.
All of the links will be down below, so you can click through, go and show them some love, go and show the NWA some love. They're doing some great stuff.
Yes.
And most importantly, until next time, stay safe and peace.
Thank you.